package on time. So maybe awarded on the next one, but the CO kind of pretty much is just something that the CO have to work and they need more time. And let's say they have to start working on Monday, so they do an NTP. They don't want to do that. That's the exception. They just do it in cases that the approval came late, but pretty much the funding is there. It's just that they haven't finished just because it came so late in the package, right? So they do notice to proceed, or they know it's on the way and it's just being on the levels of approval, right? Something like that, but they do that a lot. So, but they try to encourage not to do that, just extreme cases, but it happens here and there.
Yeah, but I imagine notice to proceed wouldn't be issued unless the funds were there and available, and it's just sort of an administrative a hurdle that needs to be cleared, get some final signatures, congressional notification, something like that, before they get started.
I did have just recently one task order that actually contract vehicle task order were new, and they customer needed them to start working right away. And I said, no, if they do, it will be at own risk. I said, oh, we can do that. I said, not you. The vendor has to agree to work at their own risk. If something happened with security, then no way. And then the vendor even said, no, we don't work at risk. So I asked the question. I know the answer was no, but I did it for the customer. So yeah, no, nobody works at risk.
Okay, interesting. As a control to keep work from starting, you can't start until NTP. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Eric, you said that the continuing resolution has had a big impact on your job. I'm not sure what SELC is.
So that's software development lifecycle. So
okay.
I have an effort that's maintaining an active system, and we have a service level agreement with the folks who host it and maintain it. So, and they're also FAA. So the continuing resolution affects how long they're going to be around, right? They can work for and it's the ESC. So the ESC is funded differently. Their folks can work for a little while, let's say after some of the rest of us are told that we can't work under CR. And then at some point their service is going to stop, right? And, so I have to plan for that, or any software changes or whatever, work on existing software changes. It may push the schedule to the right, et cetera, those types of things.
Yeah. As a contractor, my department had to put together a continuity plan to show, how long we could continue to work in case the government actually shut down, how long we could work, or the tasks that we would be doing without supervision, because nobody from the FAA would be available. And it's fairly limited. It wouldn't last very long. Of course, a shutdown is painful and uncomfortable for everybody. All right, let's talk about the types of payment. The type of payment selected always balances protecting FAA interests with being fair to the contractor, adequately compensating the contractor. A single payment, a lump sum payment at the after completion of the work is, of course, the preferred method. So on the slide, partial payment is accepting one or more complete units or partial performance. I like to make the payment against a distinct item of service. Progress payments are a percentage or stage or phase of completion. Recurrent payments are a fixed periodic payment basis for some kind of recurring either product or service. Of course, provisional payments or advance payments is payment before securing the work. It's the least preferred method. Usually if you pay before the work proceeds, it's because it's viewed as financial support for the contractor. It's usually secured with some kind of bond or collateral. And a lot of times the money has to be placed into a joint account that requires the FAA approval for expending money from that account. It's considered a form, like I said, of contract financing. Conformance-based payment is contract financing payments that are not payments for accepted items. It's encouraged that the CO keep some kind of a payment log so that you have an available balance. Start with the total available funds for this program or project, and the payment date and amount of the invoice and payment, and as a result, the balance of available funds. It helps getting into a position where you might exceed the available balance and incur a anti-deficiency violation. Progress payments are multiple payments based on a percentage or stage of completion. They must be secured, I said, until liquidated by some kind of delivery or performance. Payment of part of the contract price when some stage or phase of the work or component is completed has to show that it provides some level of value to the FAA. So you can establish schedules for progress payments. A lot of contracts do, especially for long periods of performance, with estimated percentage of completion at a given date in the future. So generally, progress payment rate is 80% of the total cost of performing the contract, or what's been performed to that point, and 85% for small businesses. That way, the government still holds something back as an incentive to complete the contract. CO should only provide for progress payments for the contractor if the contractor is not able to, for instance, not able to bill for the first delivery, and there's a substantial amount of time from contract start until that first billing is possible, or if there's expenditures for contract performance upfront prior to any kind of delivery. If for some reason there's doubt as to what the progress payment amount should be, the progress payment requested has an amount that is in doubt, the program or the CO should strive to withhold only the doubtful amount. In other words, pay what's not being disputed, but withhold the amount that's in doubt. Again, that's just an effort to be fair with the contractor. Performance-based payments are contract financing payments. They're not necessarily payments. They are not payments for accepted items. The CO may use performance-based payments when it's practical, when the contractor agrees. They are recoverable. In other words, the CO can pursue recovery in the event of default. They're not to be used when there's some other form of contract financing provided. But they're treated sort of like progress payments based on cost. Because it's a contract financing payment, it's not subject to interest penalty provisions. Performance-based payments should follow the following conditions. The CO offerer should agree on the payments agreement on both sides, a fixed price type contract, and not provided, like I said, if there's some other form of contract financing. Some of the bases, it could be on event or milestone, or some sort of cumulative basis. The events or criteria are either separable, or distinct, or they're cumulative. So the CO, like I said, should not routinely withhold funds. Withholding payments only considered when there's satisfactory progress. When the satisfactory progress on the contract has not been achieved by the contractor. Or if the CO expects difficulty in some sort of timely or complete receipt of information or contract performance. Withholding should not be a substitute for good contract management. Shouldn't withhold funds without cause. So decisions made by the CO are on a case-by-case basis. And again, past performance plays a big role in trying to decide if you anticipate difficulty with this contractor coming up. Notification should be given in writing upon completion. The amounts withheld should be promptly released. And generally speaking, The FAA doesn't withhold more than 10% of the contract value, and only that amount that's necessary to protect the interests of the FAA. So proper invoicing has to be submitted by the contractor to the FAA. A good invoice contains, of course, the identification of the contractor, invoice date, contract number, description, quantity, unit of measure, what has been performed on the contract, shipping and payment terms, if available. All contracts have to specify the FAA employee or office where the invoice is being sent. EFT, electronic funds transfer, applies to all new contract awards. SAM, we said, is the system for award management, where contractors have to be registered in SAM in order to do business with the FAA. Single payment or lump sum, we said, is the preferred method after completion of all the work, partial payments. Sometimes for distinct items or can provide assistance with some contractors, especially small businesses. Recurring payments are fixed periodic basis, provisional payments, advance payments. We've talked about all that. Financing payments. Prior to acceptance of contract performance can be extended when needed for a given contractor. The FAA should avoid any kind of risk, monetary risk associated with financing payments. Assignment of claims. So the transfer of claims, if a contractor defaults, a bank steps in, and the bank assumes the claim from a contractor, assumes its right to be paid by the FAA. It is generally okay. I mean, you're dealing with a different party, but banks tend to be easier to deal with than defaulting contractors. It serves as a security still for the loan. It might sometimes help a contractor obtain independent financing. In other words, if they can secure payment to the bank with that security is put in a position to provide additional funds to a contractor. I'll mention there's an automatic deobligation, 365 days of inactivity on a contract for a given line item of less than $100. There's an automatic system-generated deobligation. This is a system maintenance procedure that is created and approved within PRISM. It runs a couple times a year. There's a deobligation modification that occurs as an automatic process. In the payment office, it'll adjust financial records to reflect this deobligation. So any valid invoices received after the deobligation have to be paid by some appropriate available funding and require CO approval. And finally, incremental funding for fixed price contracts. Fixed price contracts can be incrementally funded. Generally, it has to be for severable services, not to exceed a year. Use available funds, and the funds have to be available the date the funds are obligated. The funds can be from 2 or more fiscal years, like for a major system acquisition, when Congress otherwise has to authorize incremental funding. Incrementally funded fixed price contracts have to be fully funded as soon as funds are available. Any questions on the payment or accounting? We're going to roll on and talk about special terms. Let me take a look at how we're doing on time. There isn't a whole lot of material left in this course. So the good news is it looks like it's going to be a relatively short day. Special terms is a rather small section. We'll talk about a couple things. Property administration is you have to determine any kind of requirement for government furnished property and provide administrative controls to make sure that property is returned to the government at the termination of the contract. Intellectual property. A lot of times the CO will need some kind of technical support for any kind of clauses or terms that deal with intellectual property. Make sure that we comply, or the contractor complies with provisions on intellectual property. Socioeconomic or other sort of miscellaneous terms. Again, technical assistance might be provided to the contract. The Office of Legal Counsel can direct a CO towards that kind of support that as needed. Contract provisions need to be included, things like labor laws, environment, security, insurance, and again, SBA programs usually have some clause in the contract that supports that kind of work. Termination of a contract. So the FAA reserves the right to get out of any contract. It has termination clauses as a provision within the contract. The requirements are there to protect the interests of the FAA, and they're set up to, in the event of a termination, to still promote fair and rapid settlement with the contractor. Encourage some kind of a settlement agreement so it doesn't devolve into a claim by the contractor. Termination could be for convenience or for cause, in other words, a reason. So convenience, let's say the FAA's requirements have changed, like they had a 12-month contract for janitorial services and the operation moved to a new location. The janitorial services are no longer required. That's not any kind of reflection on the performance of the contractor. There's no cause, but it's for convenience. So we don't need the services anymore. We can go ahead and terminate, and there's a clause in the contract allowing that. But we can also terminate for cause, meaning inadequate contractor performance. The contractor fails to perform. So for instance, contractor is supposed to secure the needed personnel to perform the contract, and the personnel with the desired skills or capabilities or experience aren't available for the performance of the contract. CO may choose to terminate the contract and default for cause. Give him or her an opportunity to secure another source. And for termination with cause, the CO has the option of billing the contractor for the excess costs of the whole reprocurement effort. So the CO will terminate contracts, whether default or cause or convenience, when it's in the FAA's interest. But the CO may also affect some sort of no-cost settlement instead of issuing a termination when it's known that the contractor will accept a no-cost settlement. In other words, we can mutually agree to end this contract and settle on a no-cost basis. When government property is not furnished, so there's no need to return any kind of government property, and then there's no outstanding payments or some other kind of contract or obligation. So when the price, the residual price on the contract, the undelivered balance is less than the cost, what it would cost to terminate the contract. In that case, it makes sense just to let the contract run to completion, to terminate on its own. Why do you think that is? Why should contracts not be terminated if the price of the undelivered balance or the unsupplied balance is less than the cost of effecting a termination? Save money. Yeah. Bottom line, it's a business decision. It's a financial decision. So if it's just less, even though the contractor hasn't performed, let's let it run to completion and call it a day. Saves money and effort. Yeah, you're exactly right. So what was that Kenny Loggins song about his father? This is it. Okay, Jane says that's a performance issue. It is a performance issue, but if the little bit left that hasn't been performed is less than what it would cost to terminate, then it definitely makes sense just to let the contract run out. So contract closeout. Eric, I'm going to go back to your comment. A bit important: collection of deliverables in progress at termination. Why don't you clarify for me what you mean?
So you're in a situation where you're going to terminate the contract, but the contractor has development in progress of something, right? They're building something for you, whatever. So, there has to be a negotiation point of, we're going to terminate, but before we terminate, or as a condition of termination, you owe us X deliverables, fully completed before we end our relationship, so to speak.
Okay, so still put a burden on the contractor.
Yeah, because especially if it's something you paid for, if it's fixed price or it's a milestone deliverable, something like that, you don't want to walk away empty-handed. You had a slide earlier that mentioned something about making sure that the government got something usable based on like the milestone payment in the event that the contract ended early.
Yeah, or some form of collateral or something. Yeah. Yeah. I would even imagine if it's obvious the contractor isn't performing, sometimes the contractor is just not in a position to perform, but there's still a decent relationship. You can say, hey, if you can just get us this and this and this, we'll wind it down, and then the cost of termination would be more than just to wind down the contract, even though you don't deliver everything. Of course, I would withhold the final payment if the full contract wasn't completed, and pursue some sort of a settlement agreement. But if they didn't perform their side of it, you think it should be terminated without a final payment. So again, it's a case by case basis. How much is left? How much value is there to the FAA from what is left, and what's the relationship like with the contractor? Good point, Eric. Thank you. So this last section is contract closeout, and this is actually the last section to cover before we get into the summary of the materials on this course. So closeout of contract files is the last aspect of the contract administration process. CO, the core works on this, but ultimately the CO is responsible for file integrity throughout the life of the contract, maintaining accurate records, facilitates good closeout, minimizes cost. In my experience, closeout is one of the more difficult aspects of a contract, because after the work is finished, this is just sort of a documentation wrap up, make sure everything's done. And a lot of times for people working on a project or program, it doesn't feel like real work. It's difficult to get your enthusiasm back up. If this were college football, and I apologize for the reference, but it's like not making it to the national championship and still going and trying to motivate your team to play a bowl game. It's difficult to get the motivation to sort of wrap up the files, but it's required. It protects the FAA ultimately to have good good records. So it facilitates closeout and minimizes costs associated with administration. If you did a good job of keeping your records, if you did a really good job, closeout almost happens by itself. Time to close out deobligates any excess funds, makes it available. Darcy said you're going to use my my comparison to college football. Yeah, especially when you're the person who inherits the closeout activities. It's really difficult to get motivated up to do sort of an administrative task on a project that you weren't involved with. So the contract is considered physically complete when all the requirements and deliverables have been received, inspected, accepted by the government. All the services have been accepted. Any options or provisions for options have expired, and the government or the CO has provided a notice of completion and contract termination to the contractor. For purchase orders or delivery orders against federal supply schedules, they're considered physically complete when the property or services have been received and a final payment has been made. Also, most of the time you get a receiving report that's signed by the recipient of the goods or services to show that it's a purchase order, a delivery order, a federal supply schedule item is physically complete. So a contract for an interagency agreement is physically complete. When it's physically complete, the CO is responsible for initiating the contract closeout. The file should not be closed if the contract is under litigation or appeal. When closing fixed price or cost type contracts, the CO needs to document, make sure the documents and activities are included in the contract closeout checklist. There's within the procurement toolkit, there's a checklist for closeout. It has specific items that you can march through. Completion of this checklist and notification of final payment from accounts payable includes the CO signing a contract file completion statement to say that all everything is there and in good order. So CO needs to reconcile the funding status, invoice payments log with accounts payable, send a memorandum to the program official to confirm that contract is actually complete, a memorandum to the Corps requesting termination of the contract personnel that have been assigned, or personnel accounts rather, for contract-specific FAA systems, for cost type contracts, not closed with quick closeout procedures. The CO has to initiate an audit from DCAA. We talked a little bit about DCAA audits yesterday, and the feedback that I received from you all is that they tend to be very good, very professional, and very, very helpful. Take a lot of burden off the CO or the Corps in performing the audit. I need to send a memorandum to the property administrator requesting the transfer of any government property back to the FAA, and send a letter to the contractor indicating that the contract is complete and requesting all final required documentation. So again, procurement toolbox has additional details for procedures for deobligation of funds, contract file documents, and paying office. Checklists associated with those are very helpful. So FAA generally prepares an evaluation of contractor performance. I learned earlier that a lot of these thresholds have changed, but for services exceeding $5 million, we prepare an evaluation in CPARs. for supply contracts exceeding 10 million, construction contracts over 10 million, and R&D contracts over 5 million. Again, I'll say that's what the threshold is for now, but put a caveat. The documentation on some of this course material is a little dated, so that those thresholds might have changed. Does anybody know if what the thresholds are in CPARS? The FAA has their own CPARS guide. It's actually Appendix 11 that indicates requirement for CPARS contractor performance evaluation. So some of the things that go into CPARS, conforming to contract requirements, their ability to forecast and control costs, adherence to schedules, their general cooperative behavior. Do they support the FAA's work? Do they act with ethically? Do they support the interests of the FAA? Jake's got a question about if anybody knows the threshold for CFO approval. Anybody aware of that? Okay, Maria says she thinks it's 10 million. Durst says 15 million. So there's a... That's a good question. Again, I'm going to make a note to myself to run that down. Matthew says 15 million. So, so 15 seems to be the consensus. All right, thank you, Jake, for the question. Evaluation is required for an order that exceeds the threshold that I mentioned. Federal supply schedule, contract or task order or delivery order contract. It's a responsibility. The responsibility for completing the CPARS rests with whoever the assessing official is. It might be the program manager. It might be the Corps. They're responsible for entering both the ratings and the narrative that's associated with the ratings. And of course, CPARS allows future programs to take a look at past contractor performance. It's a good indicator of how they might perform on your contract. So a contractor might do business with more than one federal agency, and to avoid duplicating activities or inconsistency, one agency is designated as the cognizant agency for settling the final indirect cost rates. Of course, in most contracts, you get a provisional or an interim indirect cost rate, and the final cost rate is determined at the completion of the contract to reconcile the final invoicing and payments. The cognizant agency, which could be the FAA, it's usually the one with the largest dollar amount committed to the contractor in negotiated contracts. That includes options. So once an agency assumes the position of a cognizant agency, they remain the cognizant agency for at least 5 years. At some point, again, if they're no longer the largest dollar amount holder, after 5 years, in coordination with other agencies, they'll pass the banner of cognizant agency over to somebody else. This can also happen if circumstances change drastically within that 5-year period. It may happen early. But again, both agencies have to agree that the new agency is assuming the banner of cognizant agency so that it's the bulk of the obligation in determining what the final indirect cost rates are. So a billing rate is an indirect cost rate. Again, I mentioned you establish some interim reimbursable rate for indirect costs. In the contract, it says it's pending the establishment of the final indirect cost rate. The cognizant CO or auditor is responsible for establishing the final indirect cost rate. I think it was Durst that mentioned that the DSA AA involved, if a final audit is performed, takes over much of that burden, thankfully, in determining the billing rates with the final indirect cost rate. Once established, billing rates may be prospectively or retroactively revised, again, by mutual agreement of the cognizant CO or auditor and the contractor. When the parties can't agree, then the cognizant CO or auditor, the cognizant CO may unilaterally determine the billing rate. So the cognizant CO, we said, is responsible for final and indirect cost rates. That it applies sometimes to business units, just a single unit of a multi-divisional corporation. Also, educational institutions, state or local governments, nonprofit organizations. The contractor has to submit certified final indirect cost rate proposal to the CO, or sometimes cognizant auditor or DSAA. They have to work together with the contractor then to make the proposal or audit, or it's a negotiation process to come to final indirect rates and billing rates. The auditor has to submit an advisory audit report identifying any kind of advance agreements or restrictive terms or specific contracts to the cognizant CO. The cognizant CO heads up the government negotiating team, including the auditor, sometimes technical or functional personnel as required to come up with the final billing rates and settling the contracts. So the contract administrative phase, we said, includes all the work, quality assurance, payment, accounting, special terms, closeout, and termination of a contract. During the initial work, CO plans the contract administration, conducts post-award orientation, any kind of modifications, oversees or ensures that the contractor has adequate quality assurance in place to make sure that what they perform or provide satisfies the contract. CO is responsible for reporting performance problems. The COR monitors generally performance of the contractor and reports to the CO any kind of performance problems that are observed. Payment and accounting, of course, occurs during this phase. Government may pay the contractor using interim or progress payments, determining the limitation of costs, and requires CO approval or disapproval of any invoice. The CO has to take steps to make sure the contractor has some kind of an acceptable accounting system, adequately captures costs and their invoicing. Contracts may be terminated, we said, either for convenience, the FAA's needs change, as an example, or for cause, if the contractor fails to perform per the contract documents. CO has to verify that the steps of closeout are complete. And again, the AMS toolkit has specific checklists to help with that process, and has to work in helping to resolve any outstanding claims that are made by the contractor. That's the end of the contract administration phase. Where to go for help? During the contract administration performance phase, of course, the CO is always there, available for help. He or she is the ultimate decision authority on issues of contract administration. AMS policy and AMS procurement toolbox are available. When we talk about the differences between in contract performance and administration, there's no substantial difference between AMS and FAR regarding contract administration performance and closeout. But I'd be interested in talking to somebody like Eric who's worked in both AMS and FAR. Do you see any substantial difference between AMS and FAR on the project performance and contract administration phase?
No, not well. So we already talked about squishy, right? And then, the latitude is really the difference to me. I mean, maybe
Okay.
Bonnie might see more, but I think just in one term is kind of the latitude. There's a lot more latitude on the AMS side than in the FAR.
Makes sense. Bonnie, in the short time that you've been here, do you notice any significant difference between the FAR approach to contract administration versus AMS? Of course, the contract is different.
Actually, I haven't really, I've only been pre-award since I've been here, so I haven't really done any contract admin using AMS provisions, so TBD.
Okay. TBD. Okay. Okay. It's time for a break. We've got two things left. This is going to be a short day. We've got a Jeopardy game as part of the course summary that we're going to go through. So Marcy and I are going to tool up and get ready to play Jeopardy. You have 4 groups. Everybody knows which group they're in. Group 1, 2, 3, or 4. We'll tell you a little bit about the rules. The groups are going to compete against each other, and we'll keep score to see which group wins. Asking a set of questions. It has to run a little bit differently because of software restrictions than the Jeopardy game show, if you ever watch that on TV. But we'll talk about that after the break. And then we've got a post-assessment. Again, 12 questions on a post-assessment to see if you perform. After the post-assessment, you're free to either leave, or if you want to stick around after the post-assessment, what we will do is we will review the results of the post-assessment to see how we did as a group on the comparing the pre-assessment to the post-assessment, if anybody's interested in that kind of information. But now the next item on the agenda is a break. It's about 5 minutes till 10 in the Big Apple. So why don't we meet back here at 5 after 10, and we'll start in on the Jeopardy game. So we'll see you in about 10 minutes. Thank you.
Can nobody,
But Sam, you
Okay, welcome back. As you can see, we're all set up for AMS Procurement Jeopardy. I don't think anybody missed the lobby music. Make sure everybody's got back. Why don't you give me a green thumbs up if you're ready to roll, and we'll explain the rules of AMS Procurement Jeopardy and how we're going to do this. Okay, looks like we're good to go. Here's the way it works, is this is going to be a little bit different. In normal Jeopardy, you choose a category and an amount. This one, we're just going to have to march through the questions. In other words, nobody will be choosing the questions. But each of the four groups are going to compete against each other. And we're going to use the main chat as the primary vehicle for competition. So in the main chat area, Marcy's going to draw a line across the chat. It's going to look something like this. I drew that one, but she's going to draw a line. It's the start of a new question. And you know the way Jeopardy works. You give the answer, and then you're supposed to tell what the question was to go with that answer. But I'll put an answer up, and if you know what the question should be, then I don't want you to type the answer into the main chat. I want you to only put your group number. So let's say group number 3. And so group number 3 pops up. And so the first one, you guys will compete with each other to get in there quicker. The first one has an opportunity to answer the question. If they don't get it, we go to the next one. Now, unlike Jeopardy, in Jeopardy, if you get it wrong, you lose points. In this game, there's no losing points. So you're going to gain points, but you won't lose points. So as an example, let's say the answer is, okay, get ready to put your group number in, okay? So the team 1, 2, 3, and 4, you'll see the scores down at the bottom of your screen. Get ready to put your group number in. Let's say the answer is this senior instructor was involved with a ship supply contract 1,000 years ago. So Bonnie is the first one up. So we would say, Bonnie, and you'd unmute your microphone. And what's the answer?
That would be Mr. James Brown.
James Brown, the godfather of AMS Procurement. So that's correct. So you kind of get the mechanism. So you try to get your group number up there first, and then Marcy, it's probably better if I put the points up there, so you can draw the next line. But then I'll put the points into the team that got that correct. Tell you what, Marcy, let's start out. You put the points in, and if that gets to be clumsy, I'll take over that role. So we're kind of learning as we go on this one. Is everybody ready? Everybody understand the rules? Raise your hand if there's any confusion on the rules. You'll compete as a team, so you get points as a team. Oh, William, what's your question?
Do I answer this individually, or I have to talk to the team first? Or
we don't have a chance to talk to the team. So if one of your team, you are one of the team, your team members knows the answer. You enter your group number, your team number in there, and then it has your name associated with that number. So it's on you to provide the correct answer. It's not, you don't get a chance to collude and coordinate with the other members of the team.
So I would go down to my team number there where it says team 3 and put a number in there and put my answer in there. What do I do? I'm confused.
No, you don't. You go to the main chat. Okay. You go to the main chat and enter the main chat is on the right side of your screen in the center, right under where Marcy Conrad drew that line, and you'll enter just the number of your group.
Does it have to be the person that enters the number that answers it? What if Bill puts in 3 and he stumbles on the answer and somebody else from that team knows it? Can they speak up, or is it only the person that puts the number in?
Well, we're not real strict on that. Generally speaking, I'm going to ask the because the name is associated with it. If I put number 2 in here, you're going to see my name. So generally, I'll call on the name of the person who put the number in.
How come I cannot type anything on the main chat?
You can't type on the main chat?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. Maria?
Yeah.
Let's do this. Everybody put their group number. Mine's going to be 5 because, or 0. There you go. Everybody put their group number in just to make sure that it works. So Maria, did it still not work?
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Because usually the earlier before this Jeopardy, on the main chat, there is a bottom thing that you put your cursor and then you can type. I don't have that.
You don't have that bottom thing on the main cursor?
Yeah.
Huh, other people do. I don't understand.
Yeah, I saw all of them right. I was able to do it early this morning. I said good morning.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I saw you there about an hour before we started. I think...
I don't have it either. I don't have it.
You don't have it either. Maria, try this. Try exiting and then coming back in again and see if if it refreshes and you have access to it.
Okay.
I'm sorry you don't have access to it now. Who else said that they didn't have access to that field in the main chat? Okay, tell you what, because I have. So, Olena, if you put whatever group you're in, let's say you're in group 3, and I'll say, Olena, you'll say, well, I'm gonna defer to, someone else in my group.
I have it now. Thank you.
Okay, so logging out and logging back in worked. Good. So you're group 1. You're ready to go. That's good because these teams need to be fully competitive.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So when answering the question, she would say, who is James Brown, or what is? Are we so in Jeopardy? If you don't say who, what, when, you don't get the answer right.
In strict, yeah, that's a great question. In strict Jeopardy, yes. In AMS Procurement Jeopardy, no. Okay, you'll still get credit for it.
Okay,
I'll give you the points, even if you forget to phrase it as a question. So you're obviously a Jeopardy watcher.
I am.
Okay, very good.
Just one quick question. If our team wins, what do we get? Do we get to maybe end the day quicker or something?
You get the status and recognition that your team has triumphed over the other 3 teams. I hear you. Let's see, what's this? Careful. Can you use your notes? Yes, you can use your notes in the margin. Be careful because as we learn, notes in the margin are discoverable if the result no squishy answers. If the results end in a claim from one group against another, all the notes in the margin are discoverable. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Okay, one more time, everybody. Green thumbs up if we're ready. And it looks like we're good to go. Orlina, do you have a question, or did you hit the hand raised by accident?
It was an accident, sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay, we're good. Then we'll advance. There are 4 categories. Unlike Jeopardy, you will not be choosing the category. I'm going to be providing the answers. You tell me what the question is, and we're just gonna march through. The 4 categories are AMS Procurement, Pre-Award, Award, and Post-Award. Now, I'm going to ask all 5 questions in AMS Procurement before we go on to Pre-Award, Award, and Post-Award. So if you're ready, here's the first answer. From the FAST website, here's the answer. From the FAST website, click on Procurement in the AMS Policy section. Group 2, Bonnie?
What is how to get to the AMS procurement guide?
That is correct. How do you access AMS procurement policy? So that's 10 points for group 2. We'll go on to a 20-point question. The answer is to obtain high-quality products, services, and real property in a timely, cost-effective manner at prices that are fair and reasonable. So, Eric, group 2.
What is the objective of AMS?
Sure. What is the goal, the objective of AMS procurement system? Very good. So that's 20 points for group 2.
The first question was frozen for me, so just putting out there.
Oh, is it?
Meaning that I was not really able to hear. It was like going in and out. I don't know if it seems like others also had issues with connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are we having?
You said team 2 20 point.
Team two has gotten it correct twice. They got the 10-point and the 20-point.
So why is it 30 points? Mm-hmm.
They've jumped to the lead. Okay.
We couldn't hear anything.
Okay. Yeah, online seminars are a little quirky. Here's what I'm going to do. It's suggested I turn off my video. Sometimes video takes a little bit of bandwidth. So I'm going to turn off my camera so I'm not using that bandwidth, but you'll still be able to hear my voice. So can everybody see a screen that says AMS procurement policy, 30 points? Okay, good. So we'll go on to the next question. I'm going to go ahead and draw a line across. And the answer is section of AMS procurement policy that contains guidelines on procurement planning, source selection, pricing methodologies, types of contracts, contractor ethical guidelines, and the purchase card program. Group 2, what is the question?
It'd be section 3.
Did I hear section 3 point something?
Just section 3. I didn't.
Section 3, you need to be a little more specific.
3.1.
Did you say 3.2?
No.
I did not.
Okay, who's next? Group 1? Jacqueline? You don't put the answer in. Unmute your mic and say the answer.
Oops, sorry. 3.2.4?
Yeah, 3.2, contracting is correct. That's 30 points for group. Which team are you with, Jacqueline? Group 1.
Team number 1.
Okay, very good. I'll go ahead and draw the line across, Marcy, for the next one. So, procurement policy for 40 points. The answer is the phase of the FAA procurement life cycle during which source selection takes place.
Pre-award. What is pre-award?
What is pre-award? It's one of the major phases, one of the 3 major phases.
It's award, group 3.
Group 3?
Yes.
Group 3? Okay, award, 40 points, group 3.
Yay.
Phase 2, contract formation or award phase. Very good. Yes, Eric. Okay, next question. Issues all programmatic, technical, and other contractual requirements established by the program manager for the contractor.
Phase
Group
1.
Group
Decision
1.
planning.
That's a statement of work.
Oh,
Say what? No, I'm not looking for the document. I'm looking for the person. Samaya, group
program
3.
manager. Group 3.
Program manager?
Group 3.
No, it's not the program manager.
Oh, the contract.
CO. The CO.
It's the officer.
The officer.
Okay, who was the first person to say CO?
Group 3.
Maria Florentino.
Three.
No, I said it, Maria. Okay, fine. I said
Which group said it?
3.
3.
Group 3. Group 3? Okay. Group 3, who is the CO? Okay. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Initiating industry involvement, obtaining price information, determining whether commercial items exist, determining the level of competition, and identifying market practices.
Market survey.
Market survey or RFI.
Okay, which group said Bonnie? Group 2?
Market research.
Market research, market analysis, analyzing the market. Very good.
A market survey is not good.
Well, you have to enter your group number.
I did. I'm the first one to enter.
Okay, I only saw group 2.
I'm the first one to say 1.
I'm sorry. Okay. I look at the main chat. I look for the number on the main chat.
It did. Okay.
Okay. We made a mistake. Maria should have put it in.
Yeah, my computer is freezing. It's okay.
Fine. Let's go back to the game.
Okay. Pre-award now for 20 points.
Oh, Lord.
Describes a product in terms of its detailed form or composition, such as specific materials, dimensions, drawings, and manufacturing processes. What's the question? Group 4, Noemi?
More.
Group
I
3.
can answer that.
I answered.
Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Oh, did I say statement of work? Is that not right?
Can I answer
Statement of
it?
work, it
That is a
defines a service.
specification.
The statement of work defines a service. This, we're looking for what describes a product.
Group 3. A
It's
specific
specification.
Specification, group
Yes.
3.
That's group 1.
What is the specification?
I said that's not for that's the SSD. I was waiting for it. I'm waiting my turn.
Group 1, I answered the specification.
Yeah, but I
Which is-
put my number there, so waiting for my turn to
Yeah.
talk.
We're gonna go in order of the numbers in the main chat. So that's
Yeah, you
group,
have, as part of the
that's group-
attachment for
that's group 3.
fine.
Oh my God.
Oh, my
Maria,
God.
we are competitive, you know.
This is gonna
But
be
I
a
was the
free-for-all.
first one to say it.
Maria, you
Only a game.
hey,
Yep, you have to put the number.
one thing, Jim,
Yes,
I asked this question to Maria. Maria, do you remember me?
Mm-mm.
I used to be Palacios before.
Oh,
Now you know. Sorry. Taylor's married last name. Okay, that's a disco
oh my
food.
God. She's my friend. She's from Peru. The beautiful Darcy. Hello.
oh, Darcy, that's great. Now, Darcy, you can't hide anymore.
I can't
Now
hide
we
it
all-
anymore.
we know who you are.
I know. That was from Maria
Okay.
a long time ago, many years ago.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Okay,
Okay.
now remember, you have to put we're going to go by the number. Who puts the
Come on,
number
group
in?
three,
And we're
help
going to
me
go
out.
in order of the numbers that go into the main chat. So be
All
sure to
right.
get ready to enter your number into main chat.
Okay.
And if you want to be really fast, put the number in ahead of
I'm
time
here,
and then just hit return when you have an answer. So the answer, 30 points, describes the objectives, purpose, and requirements for the work to be accomplished and is critical for the FAA to communicate and acquire what it needs.
Okay. Group 3. Statement of work.
Statement of work is absolutely correct.
Yay.
Group 3 gets 30 points. The very competitive Group 3 gets
Yes.
30 points.
Come on, Tim. Bad.
Okay. Next one. For 40 points, the pre-award answer is name of the SSO, names of the service organization member and evaluators, evaluation criteria, evaluation methods, and processes, and schedule. Group 1, Mike.
Source selection evaluation board.
Yes, the source selection evaluation plan. Good enough. So that's 40 points for group, what was that, group 1.
Group 1.
Okay, now the 50-point question for the pre-award category. The answer is the government reimburses the contractor for allowable costs of performance during or after the period in which they are incurred. Group 1.
This is invoices.
This is, okay, this is, I'm looking for a type of contract, Maria.
Oh, cost reimbursement.
Cost reimbursable contract is absolutely correct. Group 1.
Yes, we have 50 points. Yep.
Oh my God, Maria. No, we got to do something. I gotta come back. Come on, Group 3. Help
I
me
could
out.
have answered more if my computer is not messing up.
I know.
I hit it. I was ready. I was ready.
Okay, we're going on to the award category. The 10-point is request by the FAA for documentation, information, presentations, proposals, or binding offers. Group 4. Group 4, Elena?
Sorry, what is FOIA?
FOIA, did you say a screening information request?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What is a screening information request? It's absolutely correct.
She said FOIA, no sir.
Yeah, I said
That is incorrect.
yes, I did say FOIA. That's correct. I did not say sir.
Yeah,
FOIA
so
is
group 3 is after that, it is sir.
Okay, we'll give you both 10 points.
Yeah,
Where did I see the Freedom of Information Act here?
Yeah, that's incorrect.
See, I know even the spelling of it. Yeah.
That's a FOIA. Okay, I wondered. Freedom of Information Act. I'd forgotten that.
I have a point, group 3 for that. How about that?
So we're gonna bounce group 3 also because
Yeah.
on the 10 point question. Why not? We're generous. And besides, I was highly motivated to get team 4 on the board.
That's bias.
Well, luckily this is not an AMS procurement, so a certain amount of bias is allowed.
We can do
Okay,
that.
the 20 point question in the award category. The answer is list of service or product providers who have had their products or services examined, tested, or evaluated. Group 2, Bonnie.
The QVL, qualified vendors list.
What is a qualified vendors list? Absolutely correct.
Got it.
Team 2 gets all 20 points. We're going on to the 30 point award question. Imposes stringent requirements for safeguarding source selection and contractor proposal information, as well as other integrity issues.
The Procurement Integrity Act.
The Procurement Integrity Act. You guys are good. Absolutely. That was 30 points for team 2.
Wow, it's catching up.
We're closing the gap. On to the 40 point award category.
Oh my goodness.
So the pressure's on.
Yep.
And the answer is provide federal agencies with a simplified process for obtaining commercial supplies and services associated with volume buying. Group 4.
Simplified acquisition.
Simplified acquisition.
Federal supply schedules, GSA.
Okay, who said federal supply schedule?
Noemi Edwards, group 4.
I said simplified
Group
acquisition.
4. Group 4. Noemi Edwards. Federal supply schedule is correct.
They gave
I
two
was
answers.
about to say lady sense it for me, but that was my thought. So I appreciate the team effort and thank you.
They gave 2 answers.
Very good. This is a team competition. You guys are doing a great job of working as a team. Now here's the big one. This is the awarded category, 50 points, the one everybody wants. If you're ready, the answer is documents the rationale for selecting the successful offer and explains how the successful proposal compared to other offers proposals.
Word document.
3. Thank God.
Source selection decision document.
Okay, wait. We'll start with which group. And remember, I'm looking for a person, not a document.
Word document.
So group 4, Noemi.
Selection officer.
Contracting officer. Source
Noemi?
selection officer. Source selection authority, contracting officer.
I said
Source selection.
officer. That was 3.
Okay. What did group 4 say?
Contracting officer.
Contracting officer is not correct. What did group 3
No,
say?
I have my answer.
Source
Group
selection
1.
officer.
Source selection evaluation board main manager. What's the SSO? Yeah.
Yeah, we go. The SSO.
I said that is 3.
We said group 3. We're going by in order of the main chat.
Yep.
So group 3 gets that.
The technical evaluation, that's the proposal, but the source selection officer makes the final decision.
Very good.
Agrees. That's how it is.
Very good. Okay, now get ready. And again, we're going in the order of the numbers submitted on the main chat. So this is the final category, post-award. The first one for 10 points, resolves technical issues, gives technical direction to the contractor, interprets technical processes and procedures for the CO, assists with or develops the statement of work, and prepares government cost estimates. So the first is group 2 is the first
Group
one.
1.
Group 2, Bonnie.
First one.
It's the
No,
core.
there's group 1. Group 1
Group
said
1.
first.
Group 1.
Group
Group
one.
one is first, so that's a core.
Wait a minute, wait. Group two is on the
No.
chat board as the first one.
No, it was
I'm
group
the
one.
first
I see
one.
it.
Three. It was
I'm
group
the
three.
first one.
No,
Group
it's
one.
it's the core.
I can
One
see
put
it.
it first, then was 3, and then was 2. That's the real. That's the truth.
I'm the first one right there.
Maria,
Bonnie.
you were the first one. I
No.
gotta say. No, it was Maria.
Bonnie is the first one. I can see it in the main chat board.
It's the group one. So the answer is 4.
It's the core.
The
answer
core.
is
It's the core.
The answer is correct. It is the core.
Yeah, for sure it's the
Yeah,
core.
and
I
the
didn't
point
see
for
Bonnie.
number 1.
I'm going to make
Good,
some more
Maria.
room.
Hey, that's a
Make
point
some more
for
room
group
in the main
1.
chat so we can see what's going on.
See, I'm the first one to put my number 1. The second was William, the third was Eric.
Well, the first is Bonnie, then Darcy, and then
Hey, that's a
Okay,
preview.
give
That's a
the
preview.
points to Bonnie and Maria then. That's it. Make it fair.
That's
I
the
don't know what
preview.
bonus.
You need to scroll down your in your main chat and make sure you at the bottom.
okay.
Yep.
We're going to start this correctly. I'm putting another line across here for the next question.
Maybe.
There
Yes,
we
that
go.
sounds better.
Okay. So the line indicates where the question starts. So any number beyond that is the first one for the next question. The
Correct.
next question is a 20-point question. The answer is the type of contract modification made by the CO without advance concurrence by the contractor. And Bonnie, again, group 2 is the first one.
It's a unilateral modification.
Unilateral.
Unilateral is absolutely correct. So team 2 gets 20 points.
Yeah.
So we're moving on to the 30-point category in the post-award. 30-point question for the post-award category. Again, the line is drawn, so we're going to look at the first number below the line. And the answer is used by the government to interpret the contractor's work in appropriate situations on construction and architect engineering contracts. It looks like Darcy, group 3.
Termination.
Nope, incorrect.
No, that's not correct. This is for construction and architectural engineering contracts.
Okay, anybody group 3?
Can I answer group 1?
The next is group 2, Bonnie.
It's a stop work or suspension of work order.
Suspension of work is correct.
Correct. We have the same answer.
Okay.
That's good, Bonnie.
Now we're getting into the big point areas. This is a 40-point award. The line is drawn on the board. Everybody get ready. The answer, the simplest level of contract quality requirements and used for small purchases whereby the item being procured is not complex or critical. So we've got Bonnie, group 2.
Is it LPTA?
No.
No,
No.
it's not
Okay.
LPTA. The simplest level of contractor quality requirements. The next group is Samaya, group 3.
Come on, group 3.
Come on, group 3.
Come on, group 1. I can answer.
Desiree, come on.
I don't,
I can answer group 1.
hold on. We'll give 5, 4, 3, 2,
Clean.
1.
Contract line item.
Contract line item, beep, beep, nope. Maria, group 1.
Commercial.
Commercial. It's
Commercial.
the simplest level of contractor quality requirements. It's not commercial.
No.
Purchase order.
No?
Contractor inspection.
Who said that?
Not
Jacqueline, number 1.
Jacqueline, group 1 is correct. It is the
This was
contractor.
something this was
Oh,
something.
yeah, group 1. Go ahead.
Okay, so group 1 gets 40 points.
Come on, group 3.
Okay. You guys ready? In the starting blocks, this is the final question in Jeopardy. This is for all the marbles.
Come on, group 3.
And at this point, team 1, 2, or 3 could win Well, look at this. Group 3 is already out there. Group 2 is
Hey,
out
group
there.
3, prepare anybody to answer, please. Group 3, anybody to answer.
Oh, you are disqualified, 3 and 2. The answer
That's funny. Okay, we're gonna redraw the line. Okay, there we go. We're gonna redraw the line. And now, get ready. Here's the question: indirect cost rate established temporarily for interim reimbursement of incurred indirect costs and adjusted as necessary pending establishment of final indirect costs. So group 3, Dersick.
So the question for this, what is the,
I can answer.
okay, anybody in group 3?
Samaya, group 3. 5, 4.
Provisional
3.
rates.
Original
2.
rates? base
Billing
rates?
rate.
Okay, wait a minute. The next in line is Bonnie, group 2.
Yeah, but
No, we answered.
Group 3 is
Oh,
answering.
was that group 3 that answered?
Yes.
Yes.
And I heard you say billing rate.
That was group 3. That was Matt.
Matt, group 3,
Yes.
what is a
Yes.
billing rate? You're absolutely correct.
Yay!
Team 3 jumps to a commanding lead,
Yes.
and
Hi.
Yay.
very, very well done.
Teamwork. This is teamwork, right?
Hey, Darcy, this is Maria. Can you email me sometimes?
Of course.
Yes, group 3, way to come through, man.
Woohoo!
So, Matt, you get all the credit. You stepped in at the right time and pulled the whole group out of the ditch and across the finish line. So congratulations.
We're running out of earth. We're running out of earth in the competition. We did the best, and then no, someone else came push the team. There you go. Teamwork. What a race, Doc. What a race.
We had our ammunition sitting in the back.
So
Yep,
congratulations
you
to
got it,
Team
you
3
got it.
for a glorious victory. Team 1, the second on the podium, you get the silver award, and Team 2 takes the bronze. So good job, you guys.
This was good.
That was fun. You guys
This is a good way of learning. I feel like
you guys are competitive. I just got the documents for this course a couple days ago, but actually on Friday. And but when I have a chance, we have a really good Jeopardy format that looks and sounds everything like the real Jeopardy. It keeps track of team scores. You can choose any point level for any category. I'm going to move this game over to that other Jeopardy when we have an opportunity. But still, this worked well. It was a good competition, and I admire you guys' competitiveness. Here's what we've got. We've got a post-assessment coming up. Before we do that, William, did you have a question?
Yeah, I took the pre-assessment and I did it on the link.
Yep.
I don't know if I ever went through because it came up on my screen again. I didn't do it on my screen, but I did it on the link. So I don't know if it ever went through. Do we ever receive our grade for that, or we'll get it at the end? I don't know how you're doing that.
Let's see. Marcy, did we receive? We received all the pre-assessments. We have all the pre-assessments and the pre-assessment grades. Do we email people the grade for the post-assessment? And again, the pre and post-assessment, it doesn't affect your participation in this class. It doesn't affect whether or not you get credit for this class. It's really just to gauge how well the class went and to show that we're actually learning what the objectives of the course are all about. Okay, so when you complete the post-assessment, the grade will pop up. Okay. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to move you. Good question, but thank you, William. I'm going to move you to an assessment screen. You'll be able to take the. No, there's, Elena, to answer your question, there's no 80% minimum requirement. This is only an assessment. This is not a test or a final. So there's no requirement for passing. You've already passed the course by participating and be here. And we capture your involvement in the last 3 days. So you've already passed this course. The assessment is to gauge how well the course worked in conveying the information that we'd like to convey for AMS procurement policy. Thank you. Thank you. You captured in your groups a Word document. Could you please ask one person from each group to email a copy of the Word document to me? You see is my email up there?
When you say Word document, meaning all the notes that we have been putting in?
All the notes, remember we've been taking copies in the note section
Right.
and putting them into a Word document so you have access to them. Yeah, I need one of those from each group.
Adobe Connect didn't capture those. It doesn't save.
No, Adobe Connect doesn't save them. Hopefully you were keeping a Word file on the side. It was really just for your own edification. My email is in the chat. If you have an opportunity, could you just email that to me? It's not critical. It's really for my edification.
Okay.
And if it's possible, just one from each group so I don't get inundated with emails.
Who from group 3 is going to send it?
Okay, let's do this. Who's going to send it from group 1? Anybody still have it from group 1?
I'm afraid we did not save it. Anyone?
I thought Matthew saved it.
Matthew, did you save it from group 1?
Oh,
Okay.
thank you, Matthew.
Okay, group 1, Matthew's going to send it. So no action required from anybody else. Who's going to send it for group 2?
Chuba.
Cuba? Okay, great. So that's covered group 2. Who has it? You can send it from group 3.
Bill Zeiger, I can send it, but I can't see your email address. Where might I find that?
It's in the main chat. Marcy entered it in the main chat and it's highlighted in red.
Oh, I see it.
I don't
Okay.
see it.
Brown, James.
You might have to.
Yeah.
It's where it says FAA Procurement Seminar. If you have any questions, please use the main chat. Where's, I don't see it here.
The main chat is right below my picture, my video.
Yeah, it says james.p.ctr.brown@fa.gov. Right?
Correct.
I don't see that. Somebody, yeah, okay, I'm gonna write that. Yeah, I have it. I can send it. That's not a problem. I have it complete. I don't see your, could they put that in the chat here, just the email link, and I'll just go ahead and send it over to you.
It's in the chat.
I got it now. I'm all good.
Okay.
You'll send it for group 3, right? So
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right. That covers group 3. What about group 4? Does somebody still have that document for group 4 that could send it to me?
I think Dan has it, but if it doesn't capture some of the notes, we're not graded, right, James?
No, it's not
Okay,
graded.
perfect.
Again, it's just,
Okay.
you're fine. So Dan, go ahead and send it. Then I'll get one from each group and we're good. That's all I need. Let's talk about the assessment. It's a whopping 12 questions. I'm going to give you 20 minutes to take the assessment, and then afterwards we'll take a 10-minute break. So if you're interested after the assessment, if you're interested in reviewing the results, we'll compare the results of how the group did on the pre and post assessment. I'll be back here in 30 minutes. So at 20 minutes after 11 Eastern, now it's not mandatory, it's only if you want to. If you don't want to come back and hear the comparison of the pre and post assessment, then this course is over and you're welcome to go. When you complete the post assessment, it will give you your grade. It will show you how you performed on the post assessment. And again, it doesn't count towards getting credit for this course. It's only for your own information. Are there any questions before I move you Yes.
Yeah, so are we going to be credited for our participation and everything, or how we're all going to have the certificate? I'm just worried about it.
Well, everybody gets normal credit, and Darcy, because you speak up so much, you're going to get double credit for this class.
I just want to make sure I'm okay. We are all okay, right? Sting effort, right? We're all.
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, when we went through that Jeopardy game, everybody started to get triple and quadruple credit.
Oh my God, that was really good. I'm going to remember more from the Jeopardy game. Really,
I love that.
It's really good, Jay. I've never seen. Well, I don't know. Maybe I need to go more training, but I think this was a really great idea.
That's good. That's good. That was a lot of fun. Mike asked about elims. It can take up to 10 days to for the credit for the course to be reflected in elims. That's what the curriculum lead at the acquisition training branch told me. But generally, they're pretty fast. In the past, I've seen it within 2 to 3 days.
I got a quick question. I just sent you the notes for Team 3.
Good.
So we're going to take the post-assessment, then we're going to discuss the end of that, and then we're taking a break, and that's it, I guess.
We're going to take the post-assessment for 20 minutes, and I'm going to tag a 10-minute break on the end of it. That'll give Marcy and I a chance to put the comparison of the pre and the post-assessment together. And then we'll be back here at 20 minutes after 11 if you want to look at the results. If you don't want to look at the results of the pre and post assessment or not interested in them, you're free to go. After you finish the post assessment, your participation in this course is done. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. You guys, thank you for, if you leave after the post-assessment, I'll say now, thank you for an engaging class. I learned a lot. I thought you guys are a terrific group. Again, a lot of you bring so much experience already in procurement. That was very helpful to me. This is my first time, in case you couldn't tell, this is my first time teaching this class.
Wow, that's really
so
good.
some of the topics were a little new to me. I've worked in procurement and government contracting for large portions of my life, not all of my life. And so a lot of this stuff is familiar, but FAA specific topics were a little bit new to me. And you guys are very, very helpful in navigating some of those FAA specifics by bringing your own experience in. And I appreciate that. So thank you for a good class.
I like my gold medal, our gold medal certificate for Group 3. Yay. Yeah.
Congratulations again to Group 3 for a very successful Jeopardy competition. So I'm going to move you down to an assessment screen. So this will change. Marcy's going to drop the connection of the assessment into the in-frame Connect pod. So it should open up for you a specific assessment. Again, you have to be logged in on your FAA account in order for that to work. And otherwise, Marcy put right into chat, there's a link. If it didn't open for whatever reason, and we've had some connectivity issues that might cause it not to open, Marcy put the link in the main chat where you can find the forms. Reassess the time. It is 5 minutes to 11. So this is going to run for 20 minutes until a quarter after. And then we'll take a 10-minute break. And if you're interested in comparing the pre and post assessment results, I'll be back here at 25 after 11 Eastern time to review the pre and post assessment. Otherwise, thank you again. You've been a terrific class and good participation and good information. Thank you. I wish all groups were as good as you guys are. So take care.